Hello and welcome to Thoughts on Rice, a podcast hosted by the University of California Cooperative Extension Rice Advisors. I'm one of your hosts, Sarah Marcianish, and I'm a rice farm advisor for Colusa and Yolo counties.
I'm Whitney Brim DeForest. I'm the Cooperative Extension Rice Advisor for Sutter, Yuba, Placer, and Sacramento counties.
My name is Luis Espino. I'm the Rice Farming Systems Advisor for Butte and Glenn counties.
I'm Michelle Leinfelder-Miles. I'm a farm advisor in the Delta region. I work on all sorts of field crops, grains and forages, but one of those is rice. And the counties that I cover are San Joaquin, Sacramento, Yolo, Solano, and Contra Costa counties.
Together, the UCCE Rice Farm Advisors seek to provide relevant, topical, research-backed information relating to California rice production. Today, I get to sit down with two very special people, Mia Avila and Oscar Deleon. Mia is a fourth-year undergraduate student at CSU Chico studying plant and soil science, who has spent her entire life in the North State. Oscar is a second-year plant and soil science major at CSU Chico, who transferred here from the Coachella Valley, specifically Indio. Oscar and Mia spent this past summer working with the UCCE Rice program, helping all the rice advisors with their projects and learning more about California rice. Not only that, but these two also conducted their very own rice research projects this summer as part of their participation in a unique program at CSU Chico, the Chico STEM Connections Collaborative. Now that summer is over and these two have wrapped up these projects, we asked them to come on to share their experiences with us. So, Oscar, Mia, thank you both for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting. Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
So I think I'm going to start off just by asking you guys a bit about your individual backgrounds and what drove you towards CSU Chico. Mia, why don't you go first?
Okay. Initially, CSU Chico was appealing to me because I heard such good things about the agriculture program. I was comparing it to schools like CSU Fresno and, of course, Davis. And I think that coupled with the affordability and obviously the close distance to my hometown, Redding, that all tied together to just make it work. And of course, I had friends in the area as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, it sounds like everything kind of came together to lead you towards Chico there. Now, Oscar, how about you? Chico's pretty far from the Coachella Valley. What got you up here?
Well, I was looking at the community college that I go to in Palm Desert, California. They like to send everybody. They have like a contract with Cal Poly Pomona, so they send everybody to Cal Poly Pomona. I live in a little bit tougher part of town. So I was not to put Cal Poly, like say anything negative, but I was trying to leave one hood and not go to another heavy city area. So Chico was like the farthest, most opposite of where I'm from. That was my attraction. I'm just tired of the desert. I needed to get out.
Oscar, what got you interested in agriculture?
Well, it's kind of a sad story, but a few years ago, my brother died of a drug overdose. I'm a widower, so I raised my children on my own. And that's like a whole other chapter on its own. But like I said, a few years ago, my brother died of a drug overdose. So I decided to take a couple of months off. And somebody told me, take some classes at community college. You might like it. So I signed up to get a certificate, 25 units, semester 2, and I'm out. Well, on the first day of school, my ag professor said, if you're going to stay here for the certificate, you might as well stay for the degree. You're halfway there. So that day I changed my what I was doing. Instead of a certificate, I changed it over to an associate's degree. And then maybe a week after that, associate's degree to transfer.
Wow, Oscar. I mean, thank you for sharing that. That seems like you've worked very hard to get to this point.
Yeah. Like I like learning. I wish I felt like this when I was 20. I'm an older student. I've already had a family, and I wish I had this common sense when I was 20. I could have had a different life compared to the one I had. Not that it was bad. It's just I raised a family first and did a bunch of other things before I came back to school. So, but I didn't realize how much I liked school until I came back. It blew my mind. Like, I'm all for it.
Perhaps you're in a place where you're even more receptive to it as well at this point in your life.
Yeah. Yes, very receptive. If I could spend the rest of my life just staying in school, I would. So I'm trying to work that angle somehow. The way I feel right now, I'm trying to figure something out for that,
Absolutely. Well, thanks for sharing, Oscar. Let's pivot back to Mia. Mia, what got you into ag?
Honestly, it's kind of like silly, honestly. I grew up in Reading, so the area is very rural and country-like. So we had property growing up, 5 acres. It was just me and my mom. So growing up, I was always helping her take care of stuff outside. And when I was going to my community college the first year and a half, I didn't really have a major yet. And when it got down to it, I was like, wow, I really need to choose a major so I can transfer. So I was looking through the list and I was like, okay, I don't really want to work with people and I don't want to work with animals. So what does that leave me with? So I was looking at horticulture and then I thought, okay, what am I passionate about? What makes me happy? And I was like, I really like eating.
Good choice.
Come on, who doesn't? So all that coupled together kind of led me to plant science.
Oh gosh, that's perfect. You're really going to like the last question I have planned for you, but I won't spoil it yet. But well, okay, so let's move on to, we got to know you two. We, as in the Rice Farm Advisors, got to know you two from the Chico STEM Connections Collaborative, which is kind of a mouthful that luckily it seems acceptable to shorten down to CSC². And so I can tell you guys and the rest of our listeners that the website describes this program as an innovative program working in collaboration with other California state universities throughout the state to coordinate and integrate project data into one of the largest and most comprehensive evaluations of best practices found in the nation, which is incredibly impressive. But what I'd like to do is I'd rather have you two describe what the program is in your own words. And Mia, I'm going to ask you first, maybe just a bit about how you got involved in the program and what the program consists of.
Okay. Yeah. I had Whitney as a lab professor for agricultural ecology. And at the end of the semester, she kind of told us, I work in rice and we hire interns for the summer. And she was like, it's really hard. So a lot of people don't want to do it. And I was like, how hard can it be? So I reached out to her and eventually I went to the Sutter Yuba office and did my interview there. And then I had to do like an application for CSC² separately. And I didn't even know about that until Whitney told me I had to apply to that. And I did that. And it just lists out like when you apply, which internship do you want to apply for the summer? And there's different professors and it gives a little description. I believe Dr. Javan Marty had one on tomatoes and fertilizer stuff with the
Compost
tomatoes.
tea, I think it was compost tea stuff.
Yeah. And it kind of lists like, oh, this is what you're doing. These are how many hours you're expected to do per week, I believe. But since I'd already talked to Whitney beforehand, I didn't really reach out to those professors, of course.
Oscar, was it pretty similar for you?
Similar. I had Mia in the same class. But for me, when I transferred up here, I started feeding the idea that I wanted to pursue a master's, And one of the things that I was lacking was any kind of research experience, any kind. I have never done research before. So when, like Mia said, Whitney was one of our lab professors. When she brought it up in November, I had been bugging her like 2 times a month, like in December, January, February, till finally she was like, the application's not open till March, Oscar. You still have time. Like, I thought I was going to have to fight people off to try to get this position, And out of all the positions that I saw, well, I kind of, have a look. I had Whitney for a couple classes, Food Forever and Agricultural Ecology. So I thought I had a little bit of a better chance of beating whoever else was going to try to take my position. So that's how I ended up getting involved in that. Yeah, no, it was the same route. Just trying to think if I forgot anything else. I wanted to show Whitney like me, like I'm me. Let me jump on this, please. And it was a heck of an experience too. So.
Well, so you kind of talked about this, Mia, the application process itself, but was there anything that surprised you when you did the application process, I guess, in terms of just anything in general?
I'm not sure I'd say it was surprising, but I did know that the CSC² program was more targeted for Latina and I guess you'd say like lower income students. So those are the kind of the two groups that CSC² was targeted towards. So the application was kind of asking like, do your parents have any college experience, and income questions, and then what's your ethnicity and stuff like that.
Trying to give more opportunities, perhaps, than might otherwise be available.
Yeah, and I believe it was only only had to be like one of those things, like either first gen or not meeting the income requirement or Latina.
Yeah, no, I was excited because I come from a very large family on both sides, and nobody has a college degree. I think I have a cousin, like a second cousin on my father's side, that's like pursuing a master's in like folkloria, like Latinx kind of stuff. But out of like 50, 60 cousins, 50, 60 second, their kids, nobody has a college degree, So it was a pretty big move for me to join something like this and be a part of it. Hopefully I can show, like, if I could do it at my age, and I'm doing really well, like, do you want, like, I can tell you how to come to school and navigate the obstacles of how to do school, So, but yeah, nobody's hit me up about that yet, but
not yet, Oscar.
But I'm hoping I can be an example of how to navigate coming to college.
In a way, kind of to give back as well.
Yeah.
I mean, in the ways that you've been assisted or whatever, now you're able to promote that in other people who might have been in similar situations.
Anybody I can help up. I'm not the kind of pull the ladder up behind me. It's like I'm trying to help as many people as I can.
That's fantastic. So, okay, Mia, you kind of alluded to this when you mentioned about like when Whitney said that working in Rice was hard, and you said, how hard could it be? But I'd like to ask you guys both, your first day in Rice, what was that like?
I was intimidated because I'm around, Whitney has has a master's student. Like, I felt like I had to step my game up a little bit, I felt heavily intimidated. But like I said, the more I worked with the team, the more I felt comfortable and not only what they were telling me and showing me, but my skills also, that I shouldn't be selling myself short, that I could do this. I can do this. I can do this.
Yeah, I think it was kind of similar for me the first day, or at least it was one of the first days I remember Whitney had me helping you, Sarah, actually. I think you were doing counts for sprouts or something. The seeds were coming up.
Yeah, we were doing germination counts. Good memory.
Yeah. And the whole time I was doing that, I think the reason I was doing that is because I didn't have my boots yet, so I couldn't actually get into the water. But the whole time I was doing that, I was just thinking, like, what if I can't walk with the boots on and I can't do it? But then I was like, oh, I'm like overthinking this. I just need to just do it. And it was fine. I mean, I have fallen quite a few times, and Oscar did have to pull me out one time. I was stuck.
Oh, yeah.
I think Oscar pulled you out on another one of my projects.
Yeah.
I feel like my projects weren't that great for you guys.
Yeah, and I've had like my whole pant leg get soaked. So, but it's not too bad, honestly.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things. I think it's a lot more of the mental fortitude than anything else. If you've got that, you can stick it out. All right, guys. Well, let's kind of go into what your summer projects were. So, Mia, if you wouldn't mind starting off, just give a description of your project, and then I guess who you worked with, what some of the lessons were, and then we can go from there.
Okay. Yeah, I think me and Oscar had really similar projects, or they were tied together. They were both focused around the watergrass experiments that Whitney is doing, but I specifically was focused on the phytotoxicity of the rice with the different chemical sprays that we were doing. So it was kind of interesting to see which ones were like causing stunting and stand loss. And also I did get to see Whitney go into the trials and actually do the measurements, if you will. So that was cool.
And Oscar, what part of the watergrass trial did you do your projects on?
Mine was on the overuse of propanol, or the way the weeds are becoming resistant to it. So that was very interesting to watch, to see the different treatments that Whitney had put together for this season. And then towards the end of result, to see what those results are actually happening in the plots. So that was what I did mine on.
That was, so for that project, Oscar, what kind of data did you collect when you were out in the plots?
The data that we were collecting was we were treating, I think this season, Whitney had 12 different treatments going on. So as we sprayed the different plots, 12 treatments, 4 reps, and four reps, 12 treatments at different growers' fields, including out the rice station. So we got to see the effects of other things that we can use, other modes of action besides just double use of propanol. No, there's actually other modes of action. Maybe we could trim down the propanol a little here, add a little bit more of this other kind of herbicide to get a better result besides just the overuse of propanol, too dependent on propanol. Not say it's not amazing, it's actually very amazing. But like previously mentioned, we're seeing resistance in water grasses with the propanol. So I did my research basically on the data from this year. It was very interesting to see the results of that, because in all reps in different fields, you could see the same treatments that were working. It was really nice to see that we could tone it back just a little bit and get better, if not better results. It was very interesting because on a side note of that is that's what I did my research on this summer. But for the rice field day, I saw a poster being exhibited for the previous 23 and 24 season. So I really enjoyed to see that they were still able to do the previous years, and I could see the results of those treatments the previous years. So it was really interesting to look at those too.
I didn't get a chance to look at all the posters. Did you two have posters at the Rice Field Day this year?
No.
I
think our posters are only ours are only going to be at the CSC² symposium.
Hopefully, and hopefully mine can show up next season or the next field day. But I know we just submitted ours towards the end of August. It's supposed to be printed in the next month or so we could start presenting our research.
So where will you two be presenting your research?
I believe it's on campus. It's a CSC² symposium.
There's that. The CSC² said that if we could find a conference anywhere, they will pay for the ticket and lodging. So now it has me looking at, well, what's in Colorado? I think CAPTA this next year, the PCA advisors meeting. I want to say it's in Reno this season. I was like, I would like to present in front of industry leaders,
Another good option, since you two both did weed science focused presentations, would be the California Weed Science Society meeting or Western Weed Science Society. And I'm biased. I'm a weed scientist by training, but those are both really good meetings and attended by a variety of both industry and academic people. And so those are a lot of fun.
You're going to have to send that. I'm going to have to get that link for me. I didn't even see. There's so many, you have brief conversations with people and you're like, oh my goodness, that's good. Wait, what'd you say? I didn't know that was an option. No, so thank you for telling me that.
I mean, that's what we're all here for, right? Get the information out there as much as we can. Let's see. And so as a part of the wrap up for the CSC program or CSC² program, you all did a presentation, if I'm aware,
yes.
The two of you together. Mm-hmm. How did that go?
It was nerve-wracking. I don't know, we practice it, but you get that rush of adrenaline speaking to a large group of your peers. And, I know there was moments that I felt like I was shaking a lot. They told me I was fine, but in my head, I'm some rush full of adrenaline, but for the most part, I thought it went well. We went probably a little over on our time.
Yeah, we did go a little over.
Yeah, I mean, we practiced it. I don't know how we went over, but we got sidetracked. Anyways, it came out good. And the only down part was we didn't get to answer too many questions, but we did get to present on the different test trials that we did, because it just wasn't herbicides. It was also fungicides, pesticides, and then, of course, the hedge rollout in your county, inclusive, that I happened to take care of for a little while, that I really enjoyed. Thank you.
Yeah, you guys didn't just do your own projects while you were with us this summer. You helped out with every aspect of the UCCE Rice program. Mia, was there any project that you worked on that you thought to yourself, wow, I didn't realize this was an issue in rice?
Honestly, I didn't really expect that we'd be doing hedgerow related stuff because I never expected, rice with all the flooded fields to really have any relation to hedgerows. And I mean, honestly, I didn't have any knowledge on rice at all when going into this. Like, I didn't even know what our research was going to be. I just knew that we got $6,000 to be here. So I was like, okay.
Yes, they pay really well. The CSC² is they're they're paid very well. They help us out a lot.
They're cognizant of the value of the work that you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. And that helped actually help me get an apartment up here. Like, it led to a bunch of different things up here. Leaving student housing, being able to get my own apartment finally, and it meant a lot to me to be able to be part of this research program because I didn't mention previously, but I came up here as a homeless student on the bus last year.
Oh, wow.
And here a year, I came up here with 4 bags. I told myself, not only did I give my class graduation speech, a transfer ceremony speech, but I was a homeless student at the same time. So I came up here with 4 bags of clothes, got off at the bus here in Chico. My realization was, if I'm going to be homeless, I might as well be homeless in Chico because I can't stand it here in the desert no more. It's like 120. I'm dying. It's like, I got to get out of here. So for me, to be able to get that undergraduate money helped me stabilize my whole life. I paid my rent up until January. Like, I'm happy. I'm living the best life ever,
That's fantastic. That's really good to hear, Oscar.
Yeah. It's not impossible. I mean, I did, and I just ask questions and I get answers. I don't know, but I was real fortunate.
And you put in the work, the both of you. Yeah.
And I put in the work. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe the programs here at Chico are very helpful, but I feel like most people don't want to ask, so they never find out.
Yeah. You'd be surprised how people don't ask questions. Me being a new student up here, I'm constantly asking questions, and and everybody's really, really helpful in providing those answers. And if you can't find someone that has the answer, they're most likely going to point you in a direction where you can find your answers. And that's one of the things I really love about coming here to Chico State is I feel like they actually care, and that means a lot to me. I know for me, my time up here in Chico has been nothing short of amazing, the people, the atmosphere, just interacting with people at Winco. They're nice. Like, everybody's just nice compared to, not to say that they're not nice where I'm from, but I feel like the smaller town feel, the open air where I feel like I can breathe, spiritually and mentally. And I feel like Chico's a very, very amazing town, very amazing college also.
Now, Mia, coming from Redding, I mean, I grew up in a very small town. I'll just put that out there. To me, Redding's a pretty big town, but I would argue that Redding is a little even more isolated than Chico is. How did it feel moving to Chico?
Well, I'm not actually from Redding. Most of my life, I grew up right outside of Redding in a town called Cottonwood. And, even the name is like kind of out there. So coming to Chico, honestly, I feel like it was a little more busy than Redding. Like, the first time I came down here, just driving through, like, I almost ran a red light and hit 2 pedestrians because I couldn't see them because they were on the side. Like, the lights were on the side, not in the middle. But it was just a bit busier than Redding. And of course, Redding doesn't have a university. There's only Shasta College. So the demographics are a little different. But I mean, the weather is very similar. And I actually noticed people kept telling me that Redding's hotter than Chico, and I didn't believe it up until this past summer. I kind of noticed every time I'd go home, it was a few degrees hotter.
I'll agree with that. I've never lived either place, but just driving through, I always feel like Redding's pretty hot for where it is.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, just a couple more questions for you both, but I'd just love to ask, for each of you, what does the future look like? Do you have any plans, any long-term goals, or is it pretty wide open?
I'd say I'm pretty wide open, but currently I've been entertaining the idea of getting my master's in something like food systems. Compared to, doing this research, it really made me aware of like actual research in, I guess, agronomy. And I was comparing that with the work I'd done previously, which was at the organic vegetable project on the university farm over here, and how different those two are. And I loved working with Whitney and the Rice team, but I don't think weed research is something that would like fulfill me personally. So I was kind of thinking like, I want to do something more related to sociology, but still in crop science. So I'm leaning towards food systems. I'm looking at University of Vermont, I believe. They have a graduate program with the food systems lab and everything.
Excellent. Okay, you said it was wide open, but it sounds like you've got a pretty good idea of what you want to do with your life.
Yeah, I'd say I'm wide open in the sense that I can always change my mind, or maybe that wouldn't work out. I'd go somewhere else, but I would enjoy that, I think.
That's excellent. And what about you, Oscar?
I had mentioned earlier, I want to do whatever I can to stay at school. So that's a master's program for me. My problem is right now is I love everything ag so much. I'm stuck, like, I don't know what direction to go in, because I think any direction I go in would be fulfilling, you know? So I'm at that moment.
That's a pretty good problem to have.
Yeah, it's like, oh, do I want to do genetics? Do I want to do weeds? Do I want to do tomatoes? I could do anything I want, and I can't. I'm at that point where I'm gonna put everything on the wall and just randomly throw a dart at it, and that's gonna be whatever I head into. That and finding a master's program is my hunt. So now I'm barely begun my cold calling, my harassing, my whatever it takes to get somebody's attention to give me a shot on their research program. That's where I'm at right now. So I would like to stay in Northern California, but like I previously mentioned, I've raised my kids. I can do and go anywhere. So it's kind of like, well, who wants me? What can I do? And I feel like once I had a direction, it might be easier, but I'm kind of stuck, like what direction I want to go in, because like I said,
Another pretty good problem to have, I have to say, that you're excited by the work you're doing.
Yeah, people can have, there's worse problems besides being unable to choose a master's program, so I'm happy I'm even here because, like I said, I came to school for a certificate. Here I am actively planning my master's program. Like, who would have thought? And then if you were to see me in person, you'd be like, you wouldn't expect that from somebody with my history and my background, I haven't always been the person that I am. I've been on the more destructive side when I was younger, and I'm glad I don't have that in me anymore. I'm pursuing more academic things, better things. So
yeah, you said in your bio, and I'm going to put the bios in our show notes just so everybody has a bit more information about you too. But Oscar said in his bio that he's passionate about agriculture, and if you were to meet Oscar in person, yep, that's 100% it. And I think it's truly been a pleasure working with you both. I think you might have learned something from our programs. We've definitely learned things from you both. So I think it's been a good two-way interaction this last summer. And I think we all look forward to seeing you guys along the way and meeting with you again as we come across each other.
Yes,
yeah, it was wonderful.
Definitely.
I learned so much, like I didn't even know I would be able to learn this much, And, I don't know, seeing Oscar, we transferred at the same time. So I've kind of seen him in class. I've had classes with him every semester, actually.
We were part of Team Carbon. Don't forget Team Carbon and organic chemistry.
Oh, yeah, organic chemistry. But even since the beginning, Oscar was very driven and motivated, I noticed. And a lot of people don't have that. Like, if someone's going to ask a question, it's going to be Oscar.
Yeah, no, because people won't raise their hands, and I'm always like, oh, what about this? What about that? Like, I'm not embarrassed to raise my hand. So thank you, Mia.
Of course.
Okay, guys, I think this is it. And Mia, this goes back to what you said about, being interested in food. So get ready. But the final question, the hardest question is, what, if any, is your favorite rice?
Honestly, the rice they were giving away at the rice field day, I had some there.
The actual one?
Yeah.
The actual one?
It was a fragrant, aromatic medium grain. I think it was medium grain on the bag. Yeah. Oh, wait, I have it right here, actually. Yeah, it says AM201, fragrant Calrose.
Aromatic medium grain. Yeah, Teresa's very impressed by that.
Yeah, I remember on the field tour her speech, and I really enjoyed it. Like she's got a lot of varieties coming down the pipeline, and it's not these varieties aren't developed in a year or two. They're years and year-long development like the whole process. It was really, really cool. So yeah, she was exciting to listen to her.
I'm glad you guys both like that variety. You're going to have to tell her that next time you see her. Well, with that, Oscar, Mia, thanks so much for taking the time. Thanks so much for sharing your summer with us and letting us be a little footnote on your both eventual journeys. I know you both are going to do great things, and it's been a pleasure getting to know you both.
You too, Sarah.
Thank you. You too. Me too, Sarah.
For more information about these and other upcoming events, feel free to check out our resources, which include the UC Rice blog and the UC Agronomy Rice website. In terms of other resources you might want to take advantage of, you can also look at our newsletters, which include Rice Briefs, which covers Clusiolo, Rice Notes, which covers Yuba Sutter, Rice Leaf, which covers Butte and Glenn counties, and Field Notes, which encompasses rice in the Delta region of California. Thanks for listening to Thoughts on Rice, a University of California cooperative extension podcast from the University of California Agriculture and Natural Resources. You can find out more about this podcast on our website, thoughtsonrice.buzzsprout.com. We'd love to hear from you, whether it's from using our text link in the show notes, a survey submission in our feedback form, also in the show notes, or in a comment or rating on your podcast streaming service of choice. Harvest is right around the corner. Remember, like the growers like to say, have a rice life. Mention of an agrochemical does not constitute a recommendation, merely the sharing of research findings. Always follow the label. The label is the law. Find out more at ipm.ucanr.edu. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed are the speaker's own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of the University of California. The material and information presented here is for general purposes only. The University of California name and all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owner, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service.